Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Florida Hockey Now Panther Postgame Show. I'm George Richards of Florida Hockey Now. With me is, I can't, I buttoned up because Doug looks so nice.
Should I loosen the tie?
If you can. I mean, seriously, man. He looked, this is Doug Plagens, everybody. You know the voice. You may not know the punum, but what a great radio voice of the Florida Panthers, Doug Plagens.
Now we can unwind a little bit. We can unwind a little bit.
We're here in the Florida Panther dining room.
Media Lounge.
The Media Lounge at Amerant Bank Arena. George Richards, Doug Plagens. How y'all doing? Florida Panthers 4-3 winner tonight over the New York Rangers. First of a doubleheader. Mm-hmm. It's the New Year's doubleheader. New York Rangers tonight. Montreal Canadiens on Saturday. Doug, now that the pleasantries are over, nice win for the Panthers tonight.
Huge win, and it was another measuring stick game. They had the game against Vegas going into the break. They wanted to feel good going into the break. They hadn't forgotten about the way the series went last spring, and they passed that test, got a really nice win at home. First game out of the break against Tampa Bay, and I think if you're the Panthers, first game coming out of a break, that's a good opponent to have on the schedule coming out of a break because, and I talked with Paul Maurice about this, there's not going to be a chance to dip your toe in the water there. It's going to be diving head first for both teams into a cross-state rivalry game like that, the Panthers and the Lightning. The Panthers passed that test. They took on another NHL heavyweight opponent tonight, the New York Rangers. First of 3 matchups this season for the two teams. The only time that the Rangers are coming down here to Sunrise, and every time the Rangers had a counter, the Panthers had an answer of their own. The Panthers never trailed, a 4-3 win, and a big one for a lot of different reasons. Sergei Bobrovsky made big saves when he had to. The Panthers' big guns coming up big when they had to. Multi-point games for Barkov, for Tkachuk, for Reinhart, who stays red hot here in this one. And Carter Verhaeghe, we've seen it so many times. When you need one, there he is coming up with it somehow,
and what a goal,
way.
Right?
It was an unbelievable shot.
Does the spin, whips it through.
Just got to that loose puck before anybody else could. And that's the thing that's so impressive with Carter Verhaeghe. He does so much of his damage at 5-on-5, so effective there. But he's a guy who could score 30, 40 goals, and every single one of them is going to look different. He can beat you so many different ways, and he came up with another big one there. So overall, you just had to like everything you saw tonight. You knew that the Rangers were going to get their chances at some point. Those top 6 forwards they have over there are so dangerous. They were going to find some ways to get opportunities, but it was all in how you responded, how you bounced back. The Panthers tonight, as I mentioned, they had an answer for everything the Rangers threw their way.
Sasha Barkov, 3 assists tonight. He's got back-to-back 3-assist games. He's got 8 in his past 3. He ties Jonathan Huberdeau for most assists in franchise history.
Congratulations to him, another milestone.
Yeah, I mean, the rewrite. This is like the last big one for Barkov.
He's going to have everything.
And then the record book belongs to him, even the bad ones. He's going to play so long, he'll have the bad ones. He'll end up with the most penalty minutes in Panther history, even though he never takes penalties because, well, he's been there 27 years. I mean, he ought to change numbers because they could do like a Kobe deal. All right, 16, first 10 years is 16, now he's 28. Okay, something. Would you like to see that?
He's going to have every record. And right now, I think he's the leader in the clubhouse for the Selke. I think he's got to be the front runner for his second Selke trophy.
We're moving into the first half of this. Oh yeah. The Selke might be his right now because he is just playing at a whole nother level. But going back, he gets popped on the chin and goes out. 5-minute major gets turned into a 2-minute minor. Mika scores that goal to tie it at 3-3. And like Matthew Tkachuk said, all the momentum is the New York Rangers, right? They score shorthanded to tie it at 3. You're like, man, Sergei Bobrovsky had played so well. Jonathan Quick gave up 4 and played lights out tonight. And like you said, Carter Verhaeghe gets that goal. Just the way this team can bounce back. I don't think we saw that earlier in the month. They had a little bit of a rough patch, but it seems like when they play a big team, if this would have been St. Louis, they might have lost that game. I don't know why, or when they play a bigger name team, New York is atop the Eastern standings. It just seemed like Florida was really game for this one.
You know, you look back and they did hit that rough patch. It is an 82 game grind.
Sure.
You're gonna have your patches during
There's
the
a
season.
lot of overreaction, trust me.
But I think the Panthers have done a great job of finding ways to respond, and that's kind of been a hallmark trait of this team going back the last few years, is whether it's responding in a game like they had to tonight at times when the New York Rangers were able to counterattack, whether it's bouncing back from a loss. You look back, they had the home loss against St. Louis. They knew going into the break, they wanted to wake up on Christmas morning with a good feeling, a good taste in their mouth, and they were able to take care of business against Vegas, got the bounce back where they needed. We've seen that as a hallmark trait, I think, for this team over the last couple of years, whether it's in-game, from shift to shift, from one period to the next, from one game to the next, an ability for this team to gather itself and bounce back when they've had to. And like I said, tonight, they never trailed in this game against the New York Rangers. But getting back to what you were mentioning, yeah, they had that game against St. Louis. They weren't crazy about that one, but they were able to bounce back with the big win against Vegas. Tonight, every time the Rangers thought they had something going, the Panthers were able to reestablish momentum.
Another sellout tonight. A lot of New York fans, but I mean, really, so what? A great crowd. Sixth sellout of the season for the Panthers.
It's been electric.
Oh my gosh, it really has. This arena has been really wild.
Huge thanks to anybody who's come out and been a part of the action.
It's noticeable, right? I mean,
Yeah.
we've been around here the last, a while, and from the jump, even the games where it's 17-5, which would have been the biggest, crowd of the year, 10 years ago. That's the smallest now, and those crowds are just electric. So the players certainly notice, and we notice the difference too. It's just this place is hopping. That said, tomorrow we're not going to have a pregame show because I'll be at the Orange Bowl, and it's back to back. But Montreal Canadiens come to town. Anthony Stolarz will get the start for the Florida Panthers. Anything there? I mean, Montreal did not have to play today. They're on Fort Lauderdale Beach hanging out. Do you think Florida's, rides this wave right into tomorrow against Montreal? Because I think the first 10 minutes are critical for Florida.
And the Panthers have had good starts, especially in these three games, these three wins. They've had great starts in all of them, and I think they've been a really good starting team overall over the course of the season. So huge credit to the players and everybody involved, because they've been a really good starting team. But looking at the game against Montreal tomorrow, Bill Lindsay and I were just wrapping up our post-game show upstairs, and we have a friend, Bill Lindsay. We are good, and he's your friend too. He's your friend too. So we were just talking about that upstairs, and he used that same terminology to riding the wave, because the Panthers right now are in a good stretch. You want to go into the game tomorrow against Montreal, a few different reasons. Obviously, going on to a long trip after this one. So you want to make the most of the home game tomorrow night. It's a team that's, I know the Canadiens are going to be the more rested team, but from the Panthers' perspective, and not to undermine Montreal, but they're a team below the Panthers in the standings. So that's 2 points you want to make sure that one way or another you take care of business there. But it's a Montreal team.
It's one you don't mind going overtime.
But it is a Montreal team that is making progress. They're building towards something.
They really are.
And they're trending in the right direction. They're competitive every single night.
They were last year.
No freebies against Montreal.
We talked about this pregame. Montreal was last place, and every game they played seemed tough.
They were in it, and they play hard for Marty St. Louis. So it's a game that, it's not going to be a walk in the park. There aren't any walks in the park, especially in the Eastern Conference. It's so loaded top to bottom. So this is a big one tomorrow for the Panthers. I think the key is coming out starting the same way that they have in these games against the Rangers, Tampa, against Vegas.
Right.
Bringing that tomorrow, establishing it early on. We've seen how impressive, and this goes for everybody across the league, records for teams when they score the first goal, usually really good. But when this Panthers team gets a lead on you, they can really assert their dominance. And I know I'm not breaking any ground saying that, but when this Panthers team gets a lead on you, they are very difficult to play against. So for the Panthers, it goes without saying, if they can come out and establish that same intensity early on in the game, establish the tempo on home ice like we've seen them do. If they can do that to Montreal, you like their chances tomorrow night, no doubt about that.
Doug Plagens, I asked for 5 minutes. He gives me 10. That's why he's the prince of South Florida.
You buy
media.
5 minutes, you get 5 minutes free on the Florida Hockey Now postgame.
Pretty nice. Goldie's the king. You're the prince. I appreciate it. Doug Plagens, where can people find all your work, your social media channels, your radio stations. You're on La Bamba FM and all kinds of places, aren't you?
So, yes, as a matter of fact, if you're tuned in Miami-Dade and Broward counties, we're going to be over on AM 790 WAXY if you're tuned in down here in South Florida tomorrow night. But, of course, and a big shout out all our affiliates. If you're driving up the coast, Real Radio 101.7 up in the Treasure Coast, 1230 The Gambler in the Palm Beaches, 100.3 Thunder Country if you drive south into the Florida Keys. Tonight we're on our flagship Home 560 WQAM, but over on 790 tomorrow night. The guesswork, though, can be totally taken out of it. The Panthers app, if you download that Panthers app, there's a button in the top right corner. It says radio. You hit that, and you're going to get our broadcast each and every game from wherever you are. So that takes all the guesswork out. I liked how you demonstrated it. That was good acting job.
I have no props, but headphones, app. People got it. I think people got it.
And you can get the game every single night right there on that Panthers app. So be sure to check that out. At Doug Plagens on Twitter, at Doug Plagens on Instagram, all the channels, and always there to say hello. So if you have any
What's that?
questions,
Colby says Colby's doing this. Colby's saying wrap it up.
yes, the producer's saying we gotta bail.
I'm really getting tired of it. I mean, I hope he doesn't hear this. I hope the folks back home don't see this because I'm just talking. Thanks, guys, for watching. I'm George Richards, at George Richards on Twitter, at Colby D Guy on Twitter. Follow us here. Just hit the subscribe button. Doug Plagens, thank you for joining us. We will. We'll probably do a post game tomorrow. Nobody's going to watch it, but we'll see.
But thanks for watching this one.
Thanks for watching this one. We all appreciate it. Good night, everybody. We'll see you.